Like, I've always been interested in how people take words on a page and make people buy.
I think I need therapy. I think that might be a good step for 2022.
Email therapy.
Yeah.
Me sitting here listening or reading this book may be worth $150,000 to us.
Today's episode is sponsored by ChatDesk. Let's be real. The holiday season is approaching quickly, and we all know what that means. Inboxes flooded with customer emails and overwhelming social media activity. What if we told you that ChatDesk could supercharge your support team with superfans of your brand and instantly train them to perfectly respond with your brand's voice and policy from day one? No, you're not dreaming. With ChatDesk, machine learning and human support come together to transform your support tickets into satisfied customers. Leading companies such as Thinx and Shea Moisture use ChatDesk to increase their Facebook and Instagram ad conversion by up to 15%. With one click, ChatDesk connects with your existing help desk so you can have time for the rest of your to-do list and make Black Friday and Cyber Monday the best ever. For a limited time, you can get started with ChatDesk for free. Check it out at chatdesk.com. That's ChatDesk.com. Ever wonder how those e-commerce brands you admire do it? How they know just the right message to send to the right people at the right time? Guess what? It's not experience. They have the right data and the right tools. They have Klaviyo. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the brands you admire, but they made it simple, easy, and fast enough for anyone to use. Klaviyo helps brands easily create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customers' data. Klaviyo integrates with all leading e-commerce platforms, helping you use your customer data in real time to send more relevant emails and SMS automations. Plus, building a marketing campaign is drag and drop easy. You can get started with your first campaign in under an hour and easily build from there with Klaviyo's best performing templates. Klaviyo gives you all the power of an enterprise marketing automation platform and none of the complexity, so you can compete with the big guys. No wonder more than 65,000 brands can't get enough. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored.
You're listening to E-Commerce Uncensored with Kevin Manel and Jason Caruso.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. My name's Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso.
Happy New Year there, Mr. Caruso.
Happy New Year. We made it through another year.
First, before we get started, I wanted to mention something. Is the new question and answer section of our website. And we have a few questions that are coming in. So our website at ecommerceuncensored.com has a new link at the top for question and answer. You guys can go in there, fill out a little form, submit your question that you'd like us to answer on the podcast. Coming up in 2022, we're going to try to do like a little short, little like snippet podcast that answer these questions. So head over there. You can submit a question and we'll do our best to make it a podcast and answer your question. Yeah. And it was a crazy year, man. And, when I, every year when it's New Year's, you're like, I can't believe it's New Year's already. Like you feel like the whole year went by so fast. But like when you look at like some of the individual things you did throughout the year, you're like, that feels like such a long time ago. Does that feel like that to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this year has been a little bit crazy, though. I mean, I moved this year. You moved last year too.
Yeah, I moved last year.
We
You were all
moved.
over. You were all over the place.
I was all over the place. It's been a very interesting year. I think on another number of fronts. Corona,
yeah, a lot of changes. I mean,
the vid. You got the vid.
The reason, it's still the vid. The vid's going to rebound forever. So
right.
I hope we realize that at this point. But like I think about the way we started 2021 was like the year we started doing like a whole bunch of interviews. And when I think about the interviews, like starting an episode, actually we almost started at episode 199 was one of our first interviews of the year. Is with that guy Jacques.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that seem like such a long time ago that we did that?
It does.
Like, yeah, he talked about courses. Yeah. So you guys go back and check out some of these interviews. We met like a ton of really cool people. A lot of great like entrepreneurial type stories. I think we met Ryan McKenzie this year too, isn't it? Or was that the year before?
Ryan McKenzie. Yeah.
All the guys we've met, like And it's just, we learned a lot about Shark Tank, because we had a lot of people who were on Shark Tank come on here and tell us their story. And I was,
Same story from everybody.
yeah. And most of them,
Same.
like even the people who had deals, usually like either fell through or like the shark backed out, but it was almost even rare when they even got a deal. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that was interesting to hear because I didn't know like the backstory on all those kinds of things. We met that girl, Kim Lewis from. Wait, what was that girl's name that we almost worked with? Was that this year that we had? What was it for? We had her on the podcast. Maybe that was last year. It must have been.
I don't
for
remember.
that hair product. Was it a hair product or was it like a skin product? Anyway, I don't remember, but we just met a lot of cool people over the last year. So you guys should go back and check out some of those episodes.
Yeah, we also we've been talking, Kev, about where the podcast is going in 2022, what our plans are for the podcast. And I'm a little ashamed to say this, but we don't really have a new plan for the podcast, even though
it would be weird if we had a plan though, Jason. You know that, right?
Yeah, it would be, but I think we have to. I think by now, Kevin, we've been doing this for 4 years, and although we've been doing it for a long time, I don't think we've quite found our quote unquote voice just yet. Like, I don't know that we've found exactly what we want this podcast to be just yet.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing because we've been doing it for a really long time. What, 5 years almost?
Yeah, I think this coming June, I think we started or May, it'll be 5 years that we've done this.
So it's definitely something that we've been thinking about, what's 2022 going to look like for the podcast? What's the direction we're going to go in? Because to be very honest, Kev, I mean, it's hard to come up with topics in such a narrow niche, right? Like e-commerce.
Right.
So it's getting a little challenging in terms of like topics. So, I mean, if anybody has any topics that they'd like to talk about, shoot me an email, jason@ecommerceuncensored.com. And we'll be happy to talk about them. We this year was interesting. I mean, even with our own business, our revenue dropped, but our profitability went way up.
Yeah. It's that the recurring revenue model that we had really kind of paid off this year, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we did have we talked a lot about how we built it over the first year or so and how it grew so fast. If you think about it, like that was based off of like new customers, and bringing in new customers it got more and more difficult, to do. So thank God for the recurring revenue model that we had, because we really would have struggled. But, it just goes to show, like, it's like we talked about it yesterday, Jason. You're like, it'd be nice to have, one of these things, all these gurus talk about, you see them on Facebook, they talk about all this passive income and, having things automated so you can just, earn money. And it's just, you start to realize more and more that that's just like not possible, because you gotta always be evolving. You gotta always be changing your ads. You always gotta be like looking at your messaging, doing different things.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because someone said a long time ago, I heard somewhere, I don't remember what it said, but it said, real estate is really the only true passive income. Like, so like you buy a house and you rent it, you really don't do anything from there. The money just keeps coming in, right? Like you don't have to do anything. I mean, maybe there's like you fix a toilet or like a sink or something, but for the most part, once you get somebody in there, they're working to pay you.
Yeah, but I've been also, if you do it right, if you have enough money, you're making enough money, you just you hire companies to just handle all the management of all the properties. So even if there's problems with sinks and things like that, you're covered.
Yeah, and I've been thinking a lot about that, like a lot about kind of getting income properties where, number one, you can leave them to your kids. If you own a few different income properties, that money will always be coming in. Now, it's obviously a lot harder than that sounds, because you have to get the right unit in the right location. You got to get people who actually pay. But from what I've been sort of researching, it really, your first property is like the most risky. Your first and second, like when you have like a lot of them, a lot of income properties, even if like you lose 20% of your rents, you're still okay because the numbers just add up enough. But I've really been thinking about that because we've been grinding. I've been grinding, I feel like, in this business since I was 26 years old, and I'm 45 next month. And we've done a lot of things. We've been successful in a lot of, like, in a few things, but I am feeling like I'd love some sort of passive income where if something went south, if one of our businesses started not doing that, doing well, it was just there. It was just coming in all the time. Even if it was like only $2 or $3 or $4,000 a month, it's still some security. And the truth is, like, our agency has almost been like that for us in our business endeavors, right?
Yeah.
Like our agency has always been like, just like the money that comes in automatically, so to speak. We have
Right.
to work for it. But
Yeah.
the point is, the point is, I really would love to have some income that was just coming in without me having to like think about an email, or
Yeah, and the way our minds work, I know you don't think mine always works this way, but it's like when you don't have that kind of backbone or that security, it's like really hard to do the next thing because you got to like just get up and do it. You just got to push yourself to do it. It might not return anything in a long time, but if you really want to do something that you're passionate about, we've been talking about this for the last couple of days. It's like trying to find something that yeah. You said like the agency is my thing, right? It's the thing that I've always had, but it's like, is it a passion of mine? I don't think so. Like it's something that I've just had to do to survive, to make a living. I'd love to be able to find that one thing that's just like, and even like I was going to tell you, like even like investing, like I told you, I started investing in cryptocurrency and things like that. Even that like takes work. You got to look at it all the time. You got to keep your eyes on it. If you don't, I don't know. Still trying to find that thing, man.
yeah, I mean, I'm, I don't think real estate is my thing. I just like, I see a lot of friends of mine who own a lot of real estate and they're very wealthy, and they literally play golf probably 4 or 5 times a week, and it doesn't really matter because they just still collect their $500,000 a month.
That still takes patience. I'm sure like your friends, like it wasn't like that at the beginning. They grinded, they hustled. I mean, I feel like we not really, but like we've touched on a little bit. Like we sublet one of our pieces of office, and I'm like, I don't want to be a landlord, man. Like when she calls me and she's like, I got this problem, I'm like, well, I'm just subletting it to you. Like there's nothing I can do, and it kind of put me in a tough spot. So I think even at the beginning of investing and things like that, you're always going to get shit like that.
Well, it's funny you said that because one of the guys was telling me about, and this guy is very, very, very wealthy now. He has like 600 units that he owns or something. He was telling me that like in the beginning, like they were going broke. Like he would buy a house and like his wife would be like, "What are you doing? We don't have the money." He's like, "No, trust me. He's, and so like in the beginning they were, because to buy income property, you have to put down 20%. Like you have to. Like you can't, there's no way around it. Like you have to put 20% down. So you got to have that capital to do that. And when you're just starting, a lot of times you don't. Like maybe you put your last 20,000 into a house,
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
yeah, I mean, we're not a real estate podcast. So.
no. But I mean, it's just kind of talking about the new year and like what some of the goals we have and what we're looking to do. Obviously it's
funny. You said that yesterday you said to me, he's like, I'm not big into resolutions, like, cause they only last. And I'm sitting here like trying to write down my resolutions and I can't really nail them down. Yeah. I have none up to this point. I think it's kind of a healthy thing to do, and it's a healthy thing to write them down, what you're going to do for this upcoming year. But like, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I really don't.
Well, yeah. And I think that's, part of the thing with me is like, I've been thinking about a golf product for a very long time and I just haven't been able to start it. And it's not because I don't have the time or I can't. It's just like to start a new thing. It's just like, it's just so hard,
Yeah,
Um,
because you know the payoff's not going to come immediately.
Yeah, the payoff's
Just
not
what
going to
you want.
come. All right. And I also know that there's going to be investment. You're going to have to put money into it. And I don't know, man. It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing to think about starting a business, because it's not only is it scary, but it's there's no real guarantee that it's going to work.
But I thought 2021 for you was, not to speak for you, but was kind of eye opening with the copywriting stuff you've done over this last year and learned and, tested on a few different things, and it has actually really been paying off. And it was, I think, it really opened your eyes to the area of copywriting.
Yeah, copywriting has been something that I've always been interested in. Like, I've always been interested in how people take words on a page and make people buy. And it's interesting because I was just looking at this sales page yesterday, this golf sales page. I see this guy's ads all over the place, and I finally clicked the ad, and he basically did everything that Russell Brunson teaches you to do. Right? Everything.
Mhm.
The sales page. I mean, he's a click funnel. You could tell everything was built on click funnels, and like even like the headlines, how to do this without spending hours at the range. He had all the elements of click funnels. But as I'm reading it, I'm saying to myself, there's no way this thing is converting as well as it could be, because the copywriting the sales copy on the page is just not there.
Mhm.
It's like there's a little bit of it, and then like talks a lot about the product. Whereas like in all the copywriting books that I'm reading, it actually tells you the complete opposite. You want to talk about their dreams, their hopes, what the product's going to do for them. And this has been like a really big eye opener, like you said. And it's been a really awesome experience to learn this stuff. And what's even crazier, as I'm sitting here telling you about this copywriting stuff, is that we literally have the power to learn anything we want, like at our fingertips. You just buy a book on it. And I found that you can't just buy a book. You have to buy like several books, because they all like have their different ways. And I'll be honest with you, man, like I read this Copywriting Secrets, and I thought it was an amazing resource. It's really what I learned a lot of copywriting from. However, I bought this other book from this other guy named Ray Edwards, who is another famous or big name copywriter. And he teaches stuff very similar, but he says it in a way that makes more sense to me. Even though the Copywriting Secrets book was really awesome, and you can make a lot of money just with that book, just hearing Ray Edwards, the book is called How to Write Copy That Sells. Just hearing it a different way just made it a little bit more easy for me to digest and understand, because it was just said in another way.
Seems
That
to me that-
resonated.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, that just resonated with me more. That's all.
It's funny the copywriting kind of evolved for me too. I mean, I didn't learn like you did. I didn't read books. I didn't do all this thing, but you've kind of, just by talking to you, having conversations with you, it kind of bleeds over, and I start to learn some of the stuff that you're learning. And it's funny how it's like one of those things where you don't notice it until you learn it, right? So now, like every website we go to or every landing page we go to, be like, oh my God, that's like that they learn from this, or this is the exact structure. Like you just said, like the guy put the structure in place, but his copywriting wasn't great, but it's there in like everything though. It's not just like written text on a landing page. It's like commercials you see, or like whatever it may be, infomercials, stuff like that come up in commercials. They use that same structure. These big brands that are Apple, they're all using the same kind of psychology behind everything.
One of the I've been doing this, like I said, since I was 26 years old. So 26, 36, 46 would be 20 years. So I'm like going on 19 years doing this. And one thing that I found utterly amazing was both of these books, they say that the biggest misconception about writing sales copy is that the writer believes it is their job to convince people to buy what they're selling. He said that is like they both said that's the wrong way to look at it. He's like, what you're trying to do is sell people your product that already solves a problem that they're having. See, we tend to look at it like, oh my God, I have to be this amazing copywriter and convince people and persuade them and like make them want something that they don't need. When really it's the complete opposite. It is putting your product in front of people who have a problem already, who want a solution. You just have to convince them that your product is going to solve their problem.
Yeah.
And that was like a mind fuck for me. Cause like, I always felt like I had to like be this like wordsmith and like be this like, you know, this guy who's like makes people buy something that they don't want, that they don't need, but it's really the opposite.
And if you do go into it thinking like that, it does like kind of simplify the process. When you're not trying to convince somebody that they need something, just convince them that you're the best product for their problem.
Right.
Doesn't it make it easier? Like if you start out with that thought process.
Yeah. Not only does it make it easier, I think I forgot to put my light on, Kev. Not that it only makes it easier, but it also makes it a lot less stressful when writing the copy, because you don't have to think as much about being cute. You have to think more about how to solve their pain points and then kind of some of their objections. You have to kind of take their objections and actually turn them into solutions, or so it's it's a world that like I've been so interested in, because I've always felt like you can have the best funnel. You can have the best product. I mean, shit, I can have a product that guarantees that you make $1 million in a week. And if I can't convince you, or I can't write sales copy that talks to you and solves your problem, then that product, doesn't matter how good it is, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah. We also talked about, I have my notes here, Jason. We got kind of over the last like 3 months or so, we started talking about like relationships quite a bit. Like
right.
we had a doctor on actually talk about like living, having a marriage and entrepreneurship. And we even had a conversation about like having how to make a partnership work, and even how to like have a family in entrepreneurship. Like us being home like is something that I never thought I would have to do.
Or want to do,
like and it's another thing. It's like the first half, the beginning of 2020, we were in the office. Like things were totally different. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Oof, I'm not kidding.
But like being home with your family, with your kids home, virtual school, what kind of challenges those are. So we had a couple episodes on that I thought were pretty cool, and navigating this whole relationship at home and with partners. Look at all the relationships we have to manage, Jason, while trying to build these businesses. You and I, our wives, our kids, our other partners. It's like it's a job in itself.
Today's episode is sponsored by ChatDesk. Let's be real. The holiday season is approaching quickly, and we all know what that means. Inboxes flooded with customer emails and overwhelming social media activity. What if we told you that ChatDesk could supercharge your support team with superfans of your brand and instantly train them to perfectly respond with your brand's voice and policy from day one? No, you're not dreaming. With ChatDesk, machine learning and human support come together to transform your support tickets into satisfied customers. Leading companies such as Thinx and Shea Moisture use ChatDesk to increase their Facebook and Instagram ad conversion by up to 15%. With one click, ChatDesk connects with your existing help desk, so you can have time for the rest of your to-do list and make Black Friday and Cyber Monday the best ever. For a limited time, you can get started with ChatDesk for free. Check it out at chatdesk.com. That's ChatDesk.com. Ever wonder how those e-commerce brands you admire do it? How they know just the right message to send to the right people at the right time? Guess what? It's not experience. They have the right data and the right tools. They have Klaviyo. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the brands you admire, but they made it simple, easy, and fast enough for anyone to use. Klaviyo helps brands easily create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customers' data. Klaviyo integrates with all leading e-commerce platforms, helping you use your customer data in real time to send more relevant emails and SMS automations. Plus, building a marketing campaign is drag and drop easy. You can get started with your first campaign in under an hour and easily build from there with Klaviyo's best performing templates. Klaviyo gives you all the power of an enterprise marketing automation platform and none of the complexity, so you can compete with the big guys. No wonder more than 65,000 brands can't get enough. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored.
Yeah, and I think what's been challenging for me is that, you know, like for instance, if I run to Home Depot during the day, like this morning I went to Home Depot to buy these whiteboards, like that we had in our office.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for paying for half of them. But
I'll pick something up. Don't worry.
Go. You should go get them too for your wall. They're $17 each. They're 4x8 or 10 or whatever. Anyway, so we were sitting on the couch this morning, and basically the way it works in my house is like I have my 8-year-old has to go to school by 7:30, so I'm home by like I leave at like 7:15. Sorry, he has to be in school by 7:40. I'm home by 7:45 because the school's right around the corner. And so I'll typically get home and then we'll sit on the couch or in the kitchen feeding the baby because I have a 23-month-old right now. And so Jessica during that time will like to jump in the shower because she doesn't really have time during the day when the baby, is up, and she has to kind of like plan her day around his nap and yada, yada, yada. So the way it works in the morning, I'll get to the point, I promise. So we're sitting around and I'm like, hey, so you're going to go shower. It was like 5 to 9. And she was like, well, you didn't seem like you were in a rush to get in your office. She's like, so I kind of just took my time. I'm like, well, it's 5 to 9. I like to be at my desk by 9. And then immediately, so she goes, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take a shower later. 5 minutes later, I come to my office and I come to sit down and I'm like, all right, we're trying to create this new product. At least I am. And I'm like, damn, man, it would really be nice to have these whiteboards on my wall. So I close my computer. I walk outside. She's like, where are you going? I said, I'm going to get these whiteboards for my wall. She's like, well, I thought you had to work at 9. So the moral of the story is I'm struggling with the fact that I'm home, the fact that we can make our own schedules. And then when I do something outside of quote unquote work, it means I'm free. Right. So
well, that's not work to her. Going to get whiteboards for your office is not work.
Exactly. So like, that's the part I'm struggling with. It's like I'm working from home, and if I'm not in my office, it means I'm free. So if I'm out of the office, it means I can do other things like watch the baby or do other things. And if I say no and then go to Home Depot, it's a problem.
That's hilarious. I go through the same stuff. It's like my wife
needs
help, but my wife needs help putting the ornaments away. Like I gotta.
You're
work.
busy as hell. You can't do shit.
It's just funny, man. And I think I messaged you a couple weeks ago or a month or so ago. I don't know how freaking long ago it was, but it's like, I don't know how I would do it any other way. Being not having a 9-to-5 job. I don't know how. I commend people who are listening that have 9-to-5 jobs that are able to navigate. We have to navigate it a different way. But like this morning, I'm like, I had these plans to like get up early. I had some stuff to do for a client. I wanted to get on with you, do a podcast, knock it out. Then we had a meeting with a client. But you know what? My kids had a late opening, which totally like just
2
wiped
hours,
it.
right?
My wife My wife is sick. Shit, my wife has COVID right now. She's not feeling well, so it's not like she's gonna be running around. So I have to help out. It's like I just don't know how people do it. If especially with the COVID situation, the kids at home, like what I just don't know how they figure that out. I just know how it
No.
works.
And I just try to say, like, forget that I'm here from like, 9 or 8:30 to whatever. It just sucks when, like, like if we have like a light day or something, like what I played golf. What was it, last week? Someday,
Yeah.
whatever day it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And she's like, well, how do you have time to play golf if you tell me you're so busy? I'm like, well, I just plan around it. She goes, okay, well, I'm getting my nails done Thursday. Plan around it. I'm like, no, that I can't plan around. She's like, I don't understand. So
That's great.
it's, and not that she's wrong. She's not wrong, but it is funny how
It's logical the way she's thinking, for sure. I'm like, are you writing these things down? Because I need to start writing some shit down too. Like they come back to these things.
Yeah.
They pull them out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm working on
so-
trying to get a couch into my office so I can lay down during the day without leaving my office.
And nobody knows.
Right.
That's the trick. Like you can't like leave your office and go lay down, because then that means you're not really busy. But if you bring a couch in here and take a nap,
I could bring my laptop over on the couch, just set it up just in case someone comes
exactly
in.
make it look like you're doing shit. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Kev, because our businesses have changed so much. You said to me the other day, you're like, yeah, like all of our employees are like up to speed on how to do the work, and I'm like, I'm having trouble finding things that like to do. Like, I'm like, huh?
Yeah, been fortunate enough to find some really good people. That's another thing in 2021 that came up. We found some really good people that, weren't local. We went outside the box, which I never was comfortable with because we're all remote. And we found some really, really good people. Christy and the design side was the first one to come on, and she's been wonderful. She works her ass off. And Trinity, she's a bulldog. She's always pushing everyone to get their shit done.
Yeah,
so she's great.
We got Danielle, we got Jen. I mean, we have a lot of people right now who really are making, the trade-off though with that, Kev, is like we make less money. But the good part about it is we have more time.
Yeah. More time to develop big picture stuff, which is always something that I've struggled with that you've pushed me to do. And it's really helped. So we can start planning more things.
Yeah. I mean,
our job is to keep them, going. So
yeah. And it allows me to take off on Thursday so my wife can get her nails done.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know how that works. I mean, because but it is a struggle, man.
You want to hire someone to just like make doctor's appointments and shit for you. You really want to get out of everything.
Well, because if you don't have an assistant, you're the assistant.
My wife kind of acts as my assistant, though. Kind of. I don't have to pay her; she's free.
No, you do have to pay her. Actually, it's more than what everybody else gets.
Maybe if I pay her, I could stop dealing with the other stuff.
Well, I just
that's not how it works. I don't think.
Yeah, I was telling Jessica, like I would even like my wife goes to pick up Jason. She leaves at like 1:30, 1:45. She doesn't get back till 3:00 because the school that my son goes to is overcrowded. There's 2,000 kids in his elementary school.
Wow.
Because everybody's moving down here.
K-5?
K-5, yeah. So she's gone from 1:30 or 1:45 till 3. And I have to watch the baby. He usually sleeps till about 2. But that's a big chunk in the middle of the day that she's not here. And I'm like, I've been thinking lately, like, we try to get him on the bus, but there's no room. So like we can't even get to get on the bus. Because there's no drivers. They can't find any, like whatever. So I've like been really seriously thinking about, do I hire some sort of like nanny type person to be here during the day so that like if she wants to go run an errand, she can go run. I don't have to watch him. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just
a big chunk, because and the stuff that you're doing lately, you have to sit down and do it
and the writing side of it. But I think the trickier part, Kev, is like I think business, it's the more and more that I learn about it, it's a lot of it is about focus and momentum And when you stop for that long during the day, it's hard to get refocused and it's hard to continue the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get on phone calls at 9 o'clock in the morning and it's the worst possible thing we can do because it just F's up the entire day when you're on a call from 9 to 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then like lunch is like at 12 and you're starting to get hungry and it's just hard to get back into the flow when you've been brain effed for an hour and a half or 2 hours on a freaking phone call.
Yeah, one of the things I really want to do in 2022 is kind of focus on some, production. Not production, like being productive. Like I feel like so many of the things are just like a waste of time, and I'm not focused on one thing. Like you hear all these people like that. They check their email for 30 minutes in the morning and they don't check it till the following morning. Like things like that, like things that structure your day a little bit more. Like I'm looking at my desktop and I have Chrome open and I have probably 35 tabs open because I'm always like so jumping around from one thing and I leave a tab open so I don't forget that I did it before. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, I got all these tabs open. Why did I open this tab? I can't remember. You sent me that landing page. That's like 30 tabs deep. Like I'm gonna come back to that. I have like 15 Klaviyo flows open at the same time.
Dude, you have to make them pins though, so they're not so big.
I know, but like I just have to be more organized. I have to like focus on things and not move around and not get distracted. I think it's so important to like have that kind of thing in your life.
Well,
otherwise you just get little things done and then nothing gets done.
Yeah, and like the interesting thing is that I hear this a lot from people. They're like, when you focus on getting one thing done for the day, you actually complete more projects because you're not dilly-dallying. You're actually just doing that project and then just so like there's a lot of entrepreneurs that'd be like, look, I have this one thing on my list today. I'm doing that and then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because just getting that done is more than what would happen if you had 10 things you're trying to multitask on because you're not going to get any of them done.
Yeah. And getting rid of some of those distractions. Like now we have Slack, we have Monday, we have email, we have my text messaging up all the time.
Right.
You're better at that than me. Like you can shut it down. Like I just can't.
Well,
like I tried to do that over we did that over New Year's Eve because there are some things that were going on, but like it drove me friggin' nuts. Like inside my head, I was just like, what's happening without me knowing about it?
Well, it was funny because we spoke on Thursday or Friday and we're like, okay, Slack notifications are going off till next year. I turned them off. You didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Or you did, but you had to go back in there.
Well, I did after the new year. As soon as the new year came,
I waited till Monday. I turned everything off until Monday.
I had to even like delete the Slack app off my phone because I know if it was there, I would just like look at it and check it because I just can't. Because I think I need therapy. I think that might be a good step for 2022.
Email therapy.
Yeah, just like I just can't, and nothing is gonna happen.
No, it's the dopamine, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's a real thing.
It is a real thing, dude, for sure. And I think, I think one of my biggest things for 2022 is to come up with a brand that you and I own exclusively, that we can control. Like, because right now, a lot of our relationships, we do the marketing, and our partners do the content side of it. And it's fine. It works out fine. It's just that we don't really have control over anything. It's kind of like we have to wait for our partners to get us stuff. And we're kind of like regurgitating the same things over and over when everybody gets busy. So I really want to get to a point where we have our own thing that we are in control of. And yeah, we are in control of Fast Forward, the agency. But I'm talking about like a product, so to speak.
Yeah, I think we have like a pretty unique partnership that you don't get very often. I think that we both feel like we talk, on a regular basis. Like there's no, secrets amongst either of us, and like we can rely on each other. If you're gonna do something, if you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. I'm the same way. And if you don't, like, I feel like I can call you up and say like, what the fuck? Like, let's work this out. Let's have an argument real quick and figure out how to get, how to get past it. We can yell at each other for a little bit, and then by the end of the day, it'll be done. And
right. You'll tell me how I don't do anything for Fast Forward. What do you do for the agency? And then I'll tell you,
you'll tell me how you feel. And we had that a couple weeks ago. And, I never totally knew that the way you felt, the way when you told me you felt that way. And, I respect that. And we just got to navigate around it. And we're willing to do that with each other. So we're fortunate.
Yeah. I think we're finding out that partnerships are they're definitely challenging if you don't have people that are on the same sort of, and it's a point of contention with us too, because you've always been stuck to your computer and I've always been trying to find ways to get away from my computer, right? And you've always felt like when you sit at your computer for 15 hours a day, that meant you were working really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of the world you came from, right? Like hourly work is like the more you sat in front of your computer, the more money you made. And then we started like exploring other things, like, no, like we don't really necessarily have to be standing at a computer all day. But we can still make money because we're doing other things. Like we're managing other parts of the business. Like we just had something in our wildlife photography business. Like our writers weren't getting us their articles on time, and the journal would go out like late every single issue. And then we just put something in place where we were like, look, if you get your article in on time, we'll give you an extra $200. So it's been motivating people. I mean, we've only had one issue since we've done that. But what we're hearing from our team is like, it's been a really, really empowering, and it's a really, really helpful thing for them. So like those kind of things, although it's not us sitting at a computer doing something, it's definitely going to make the business better. It's going to move it forward. It's going to get that's just an example, just the point that like sitting at a computer isn't necessarily the only productive thing that you can do for your business.
It's that mindset thing that's going to look beyond that initial couple $100. Like that was the thing where our team would be like, are you sure you want to do that? Like you want to pay a couple $100? But like, listen, like, do you understand that $200 could pay it for itself 10x by people staying on board, or from getting the issues out on time, or signing up new people because this person said they get their issues out on time every time. You got to think about it like that. Like the money comes back around in other ways.
Right. Or people get pissed off that the issues aren't coming out when they're supposed to come out. For instance, if our fall issue comes out in the winter, that doesn't do anybody any good. Right. And that's kind of something we've struggled with, where like our fall issue would come out in the winter time. So there are a lot of ways to, I think, be productive. I think there's a lot of ways. And I think that's something that you and I have always gone through, is where like, you've always said, like, if I, you equated sitting at a computer with working hard, where at the end of the day, it's not always about that. I mean, me sitting here listening or reading this book may be worth $150,000 to us. So like, for me, I've always felt like if I'm continually learning how to make us money, it's just as valuable as sitting by a computer doing a marketing campaign or an email campaign or something like that. Like, I think you're starting to come around, and you're starting to, I think, see the light at the end of the tunnel, see the other side. But yeah, I mean, I think going back to your original point, I think it's tricky to have partners, and the right partners. And, it's definitely something that we want to rely on ourselves a little bit more, instead of our future being in other people's hands. And so that's, I think, a big push in 2022 is for us to start creating our own stuff without, quote unquote, content people. Like, we will be the content people.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just our,
our year in review,
year in review, and us just having a conversation we had offline. So
yeah, anyway. I mean, I think Kev, I think other people go through this, and I think, episodes like this are just like to be like, hey, look, we're going through the same shit you're going through, even if we come on here telling everybody how successful we are, because obviously, that's part of this is, being an authority, you kind of have to tell people how good you are, how great you are. But we struggle with the same things that everybody else struggles with. So
Yeah, on the surface, all these people out there, they just look they got it all worked out. And we're just kind of come on here to be honest with you guys until we don't have it all worked out. We don't have it all figured out by any means. So
right.
anyway, guys, hit that subscribe button to hear all the new stuff that's coming out in 2022. And I'll go back if you're new to the podcast and you haven't listened to some of our old podcasts at the beginning of the year. We have like a bunch of interviews with some cool people. So definitely check those out. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.
Today's episode is sponsored by ChatDesk. Are you struggling to respond to all your social media comments, DMs, and customer emails? Well, you're not alone. That's why ChatDesk came up with a solution to supercharge your support team instantly. With ChatDesk, machine learning and human support come together to transform your support tickets into satisfied customers. Leading brands such as Thinx and Shea Moisture lean on ChatDesk to increase revenue and customer satisfaction. Get started for free at chatdesk.com or click on the link in our show notes. Attention e-commerce founders, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, marketers, and growth hackers. If you're working around the clock to build your dream e-commerce business, you need an e-commerce marketing platform that works just as hard as you do. That means you need Klaviyo. With Klaviyo, you'll delight customers and drive revenue at the same time. With personalized email and SMS marketing campaigns, you can design and send in minutes. For more, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored.